Hi guys, welcome back to the Drive Life channel, and in today's video we're covering a taboo topic with the P3 Volvo generation. Now, I spent a bit of time in the engine bay of my Volvo over the last 3 years, and I've seen my fair share of hints about the relationship with Ford on these P3 Volvos. So we're going to go into depth about that today, to just discuss it, discuss how much these cars share with Ford, which I think you'll find actually pretty, it's quite surprising how much in common these cars have with Fords of the same age. We're going to talk about why and how, and point out a few of the pieces that are obvious in the engine bay. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. So the P3 generation Volvos debuted in 2006 at the Geneva Auto Show alongside the Ford Mondeo. They were both built on the Ford EUCD platform and actually became the platform of choice for Volvo for the next sort of 10 years almost. Everything from the S80, the V70, the XC70, the XC60, S60 and V60 was built on that platform, and there was even going to be an XC90 built on that platform, but they realised it was too small and that was scrapped during development. Now, this chassis was used across a whole range of Ford owned car brands, including Jaguar and Land Rover. The Jaguar XF was built on this chassis. The Ford S-Max, Galaxy and Mondeo all use the Ford EUCD platform, and interestingly the Land Rover Freelander 2 as well, which is why I was able to buy new brake discs for a Freelander 2 for a fraction of the price that fitted my S80. So I saved well over £150 buying Land Rover parts rather than the S80 parts. So really does make a difference. Now, like I said, it was introduced in 2006, and this car, or these Volvos, actually share over 50% of their components with their Ford cousins. Everything from the steering rack, not identical, but they share 80% of the parts between the steering racks, Volvos and the Galaxy and S-Max. Now, one of the reasons Ford designed this platform is that they didn't want to use the standard American Ford C3 platform. That couldn't fit in Volvo's 5-cylinder diesels and 5-cylinder petrol engines, which Ford really wanted to keep. It was part of, sort of Volvo's brand. They had a really solid engine in the D5 and the T5 as well, and then obviously the iterations as well that came from that. So Ford felt it was worth, actually, for Europe, building an entirely new platform. The transmission, of course, was the TF80 SC, and that was used again in all of the higher output versions of the EUCD platform. You also then had the power shift transmission, which was used again in all of the lower output automatic EUCD vehicles, and it really meant that Ford were able to produce these vehicles on the same platform and save a fortune overall in vehicle development. So let's take a look then at the engine bay and see what we can find that belongs to Ford or comes from Ford. One of the most obvious Ford parts are the removable headlights, or the mechanism for removing the headlights. All you do is you pull these pins out and the headlight pulls straight out, and that was introduced on the EUCD platform, also used in Land Rovers for the future as well. Other things, a lot of these hoses are stamped FOMOCO, FOMOCO, also known as Ford Motor Company, and that's what that stands for. Various bits and pieces, like the wiper blades are the same. I've mentioned it before, but the brakes are all the same. Windscreen washer pumps are the same. The fuse box here, I don't know if you guys can see that. That's stamped FOMOCO. Let's see if we can get you to zoom in. No, it's not going to have it, but You can take my word for it, that says Fomoco. So lots of different pieces that these cars share. Now, on the forums you see a lot of the purists, or the people that own P2 Volvos, which was sort of the last original Volvo chassis, slating this relationship with Ford, saying that it ruined ruined Volvo, etc. I tend to disagree, and I'm going to do a video later on about P3 Volvos, sort of the best bits about them, whether you should buy one, etc. Because what we have here is a fantastic car, and actually the sharing of platforms allows you to access parts far more cheaply. You can buy things, for example, the window switches for the driver's side are identical to a Jaguar. You can actually find them cheaper, or there's more availability of these parts because they were built in bigger batches. Brake calipers, for example, I'll just put all these things. Hopefully it's not too noisy, but say Ford, like I said, the brake discs I was able to source from Ford, the electronic handbrake Ford, and it has actually works out cheaper in some scenarios to buy specific Ford parts rather than Volvo parts. They're built in the same factory, and actually if you buy a Volvo fuel filter, it is in a Volvo box stamped with Volvo, but when you look at the actual part, it's got Ford Motor Company written on it. So yeah, I personally don't think it ruins it at all. Volvo did very well in keeping a lot of their character. I've driven the older Volvos, and a lot of that driving character comes through, not least the fantastic 5-cylinder D5 engines and T5 engines. So yeah, interesting topic. I think some people get overly upset about it. I think, to be honest, it's the reality. When you've got the Volkswagen Golf, Octavia, Seat, all sharing the same platform across multiple brands, it's the way of the world. It's far too expensive nowadays to develop specific platforms for specific models of car. The fact that this platform is used across such a wide range of vehicles, people carriers, 4x4s, saloon cars, estate cars, etc., is testament to the versatility and engineering that goes into it. So yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if you learned anything, and if you've got anything to add to the conversation, stick it in the comments down below, because we'd love to hear your thoughts, and I'll see you next one. Cheers.